And today, we're diving deep into this really personal, intense battle that's threatening to tear the whole MAGA coalition apart from the inside. To get a feel for just how deep this cut goes, you just have to look at the words being thrown around. I mean, when one side starts calling the other's foreign policy terrorism, you know we're way past a simple disagreement. The stakes here are sky high, and the language is, well, it's absolutely explosive. All right, so here's our game plan for unpacking all of this. First up, the strategic problem that kicked this whole thing off. Then, we'll get into whether this is really a MAGA civil war. After that, we're going to look at the new media battlefield where this fight is happening, dig into the old historical grudge that's fueling the flames, and finally, ask the toughest question of all. What would a win even look like here? Okay, let's start at the very beginning, the core strategic dilemma. How did the US end up in this high-stakes standoff with Iran in the first place? And what were the incredibly tough choices on the table? Well, according to former CIA Director Leon Panetta, the administration was basically painted into a corner. The whole regime change idea wasn't working, and by threatening the Straits of Hormuz, that tiny waterway where a ton of the world's oil flows, Iran suddenly had all the leverage. It forced a choice between really bad options and, frankly, even worse ones. And the real problem, as Panetta laid it out, was a huge failure to think ahead. Iran's most obvious play in this whole chess game was always going to be to threaten the Straits of Hormuz. By not being ready for it, the administration pretty much handed Iran a massive economic weapon and was immediately thrown on the defensive. Now, a foreign policy mess like this never stays just about foreign policy, right? It always spills over into politics back home. So how did this international standoff spark a political civil war? And here's the big question. Did it actually break the coalition that got Trump elected in the first place? So if you listen to a commentator like Dave Smith, the damage is, well, it's catastrophic. He makes the case that those core anti-establishment voters, who were so key to the MAGA movement, the libertarians, the populists, the anti-war kids, they all feel completely betrayed. From his perspective, that winning team is just gone. It's been destroyed. But right as you're processing that idea of a shattered base, you run smack into this number, 100%. A poll of the core MAGA GOP showed literally 100% support for the administration's moves. And it makes you ask a really fundamental question. Who is the MAGA base? Is it that broad, fragile coalition, or is it this smaller, absolutely unbreakable core? Now, this clash of ideas, this whole war, it's not really happening on CNN or Fox News. No, it's being fought on a totally new media battlefield, a digital world with its own generals and its own rules of engagement. What we're seeing here is a massive power shift happening in real time. In one corner, you've got the legacy media establishment, the big networks, the traditional pundits. But in the other corner, you have this new wave of podcasters and YouTubers, people like Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, who are rallying huge audiences against the war, and they're building a counter-narrative that the old guard just can't seem to control. And, nothing captures this change better than this little story from commentator Adam Sneed. He said a political insider told him all that online stuff didn't matter. But then that same guy came back to him later and basically said, Adam, I was dead wrong. This is a new YouTube world. It's like a confession that this is where the real political influence is now decided. To really get why this debate is so passionate, you have to look way past the current headlines. Why is there so much bad blood between the US and Iran to begin with? Well, the answer is in a grudge that's been festering for decades. Okay, so this timeline is absolutely critical. A lot of people, as folks like Jesse Ventura have pointed out, think the story begins in 1979 with the Islamic Revolution, but it doesn't. It really starts in 1953, when the CIA helped organize a coup to overthrow Iran's democratically elected leader. That one event planted the seeds of anti-American hate that the Ayatollahs later used to grab power. And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most important question in this whole mess. With all this infighting, what is the actual goal? What does victory even look like? This is the one thing that honestly no one seems to have a straight answer for. The reason for military action has changed over and over, leaving pretty much everyone, from the critics to the supporters, kind of scratching their heads about what their real objective is. It's wild. Depending on who you talk to, victory means something completely different. For some, it's just getting a negotiated deal. For others, it's nothing less than grabbing their nuclear material or full regime change. And for a lot of people, the biggest fear is that the most likely outcome is just a long, expensive stalemate, where nobody really wins at all. And if you want to see just how personal this gets, look at how the two sides even frame their arguments. For someone like Adam Sneed, it's a patriotic red line. He's basically saying if you call the United States a terrorist organization, that's it, debate's over, you've lost. But Dave Smith's response just blows right past that idea and points to what he calls the scoreboard, the real-world human cost. And this, right here, is the heart of the whole fight. One side is arguing about national identity and patriotism. The other is arguing about consequences. They're not even having the same conversation. So that leaves us with this final, kind of unsettling thought. When the debate itself becomes this toxic, this broken, does the war of words at home actually become more damaging than any potential conflict abroad? It's a heavy question, and it's one worth thinking about long after the headlines fade.